Well, I think one of the great satisfactions of being as an opera singer is to be able to sing Verdi. I mean, in general terms, if you have kind of an Italian voice, and even though I have going through all the repertoire, the German repertoire, the Russian repertoire, the French repertoire, uh, the Verismo, etc., Baroque. However, the Verdi singer is is something you have to be very proud to be able to sing Verdi. In fact, the other day, a lady she brought me a calendar of just any year, and then she puts in the calendar every performance of Verdi that I have sang or conduct, and it was amazing because it come out and I have sang over 600 performances of Verdi, and I have conducted about 160 something. And it's amazing because you see very few days of the year that I didn't do any Verdi at all. But there are some days that you realize that maybe on let's say a date, 21 of February or something like that. And I have you see it in 86, so I was singing Stifelio on that day. And however, in 65, I was singing Traviata. And then in 97, I was conducting Ballo in Maschera. And in 2001, I was conducting Verdi Requiem. And I was singing Forza del Destino in 70 something. It's amazing to see. And it's a souvenir that I will keep forever, because of course I have I really write down every performance that I sang, but to see it in a calendar and to see sometimes that any particular day of the year you have done perhaps 8 or 10 different performances of Verdi, either singing or conducting in different years. Of course, it's the greatest satisfaction, and of course, it's the most difficult thing to find the voices for Verdi. So to sing Verdi, it is a privilege, really, and I think the public kind of understand the importance of the music of Verdi, his versatility, all the great operas he wrote, and the immense inspiration and all the different characters that he gave the tenor. And of course, Manrico is one of the really, really wonderful characters. I think it's Manrico and De Luna, which of course they are brothers. They have to be so young, because the story, the way is said by Azucena, first by Ferrando, and then by Azucena, it really makes us. It makes us. It has to be. The youth has to be there, And of course, it's a romantic figure. He's a singer, the character. He goes with a node, with what he believes is the mother, Azucena, going from one place to another. And of course, the big problematic love story of both brothers, without knowing that they are brothers, hating each other and being in love with Leonora. So I think it has some of the most beautiful music ever written, starting by the Serenade, Deserto sulla Terra, then the terzetto, between Leonora, De Luna, and Manrico, then the duet with Azucena, And then the convent scene when he goes to the convent to take Leonora with him. And then, of course, there are Siven Mio, the Di quella pira, and finally the Miserere, and the prison scene, the duet with Azucena, and then the tercet with Leonora, then becomes a little quartet at the end of the opera with the Luna. I think it is a beautiful, noble character. It is. There is a particular moment when he says to Azucena, because they are talking, because he's always thinking he has been wounded in the fight with the Luna, and he will kill the Luna, and explains to the mother, at the moment I was going to kill him, said, like, I feel like a voice from heaven to say it, don't do it. And of course it was the feeling that it was his own brother. It was his own brother, and then his own brother kills him, of course. It is a noble character. It is, as I said, I think those characters, they have to be seen when you are very young. It is the whole impetu of the youth, and in any case, you have to have a mother, which is a mezzo, which most of the time is a young person also, So it is perhaps is one of my preferred characters, and I sang enough performances, but I don't consider that they were as many as I would like to sing. I was involved in many other operas, other repertoire, Verdi or whatever, and I sang maybe over 50 performances, 60. Perhaps it's one of the most popular operas in the world, and it's an opera that you will never get tired to hear. It's so intense, so beautiful, the music, and every singer you really need, as probably in very, very few operas, then you need is so determined, and the four singers, they are great, and the four singers are Verdi voices. You miss one, you are in trouble, and to have the part of Ferrando sung by José Van Damme is also to have a deluxus bass, which the part doesn't need it, but it is a cameo role and a very special occasion, and he was doing this role. Then we have the Leonora of Raina Kawawanska, which is of course an ideal Leonora, believable on the stage dramatically and vocally, and Capuccilli at his best, being the really Verdi baritone, which is so, we miss so much. The real Verdi baritone is perhaps the most difficult voice to find. I mean, in any generation you find, if you are lucky, one or two. You find many people that sings Verdi, but the really Verdi baritone voices are the most difficult to find. Don't ask me why. And to have him at his best is phenomenal. And Fiorenza Cosotto, perhaps in one of her best parts. Azucena, the drama, the full range of her voice, singing with the drum, with a believable involvement in the part, and then to have in the podium von Karajan, that's something that it is extraordinary. He was a conductor. Of course, I don't need to explain to the public what von Karajan it was, but he was a, believe it or not, he really liked voices. I mean, you find sometimes these big conductors, and they are symphonic conductors, and they care very much about the orchestra. They care about any kind of the repertoire, symphonic repertoire, and they, of course, they are very thrilled to conduct Mahler and Bruckner and all Beethoven and Brahms and so on. But the opera, they take it like this. No, von Karajan really loves the opera, and it was a conductor that was easy to please. If you will really do the things then he will ask you. I mean, if he will ask you for a special piano phrase and you were able to deliver it, you know, he was thrilled, you know. And I had to say that to sing at the Vienna Staatsoper is always, perhaps it's the most enthusiastic public in the whole world. And I don't say that because, for instance, the public in London is tremendous. I mean, they give themselves to the public, but I think they are it's not that they are timid, it's that they have a lot of respect for the singer, and they want the show to go on, you know. But I give you an example. When you sing A Sieben Mio in London, you wish you were in Vienna, because in London, the public, even if you sang it really great, the public applauds, and then it continues. It has to continue immediately di quella pira. So in Vienna, when you sing A Sieben Mio, and as it is in this performance, which it went very well, you have over 3 minutes of applause, which gives you the time to breathe and be ready to sing Di quella pira, you know. So this is a wonderful feeling to have the public of Vienna with us in this particular performance. The high C in certain operas, you know, it was just an invention of the singers, you know. I mean, the tenors in those days, they just add high notes and they were not written. In fact, the tessiture of Trovatore is not, it doesn't go higher of an A natural. That's the tessiture of Trovatore. Quite difficult. The whole tessiture is a real tenor, but doesn't have a high C, doesn't even have a high B, doesn't even have a B flat. The Trovatore was written only with an A natural as being the highest note. But you know, so some of our colleagues from the past, they put that high C of Di quella pira. And there is a misconception also. The thing is this, I have done sometimes the Trovatore without the high C and sing it just as written. But most of the singers, we sing with the so-called high C, which is really a B natural. Some of my colleagues, yes, they have a very, very easy high C, and they sing it in C major, the Trovatore. But most of the tenors, including myself, when we sang Trovatore, we sing it in B major, which it becomes a B natural. And we have to sing it that way because the people, they will think about a high C. And it is also something that many people, they consider a high C just a high note. I mean, if it is ta-ta, whatever it sounds like this, it's a high C. So it doesn't matter if it's a high B, a B flat, an A natural, something that sounds like an ending. Even people that has a lot of culture and preparation, they said, "Oh, that was a wonderful high C," because it's a high note. But no, this is yes. He wrote the the stretta or the cavalletta, as you want to call it, the Di quella pira. He wrote it in C major, and if you go up, it's a high C. But it is a high C that it really put a more difficult task for every tenor of every generation, because some of them they did it. And Verdi don't encourage anybody by singing. In fact, he said he asked with respect but with urge for the singers to sing their works in the way he composed. So this is perhaps the most famous scene in the repertoire, which is the famous to sing the high C or not to sing the high C. So okay, so I mean you see many of the tenors we have to transpose to be major, which is very brilliant. I have heard some tenors also then sing it in B flat. I never did it in B flat. I did it always in B major, and I did it in with the high C in the recordings. The recordings, because I mean you can rest and you can put it after, but on the stage I always did it in B major. He looked for the story of Gutierrez, which is a very, very beautiful book. The drama, the story is so beautiful. The poetry is gorgeous, it's beautiful, and there are some things that they don't exist, but he did a beautiful adaptation. They did a wonderful adaptation of the libretto, based on the book, and also perhaps it's good to mention the fact that people loves to say that Trovatore is a very bad libretto, and I don't think it's such a bad libretto. I mean, it is a confusion there that it could exist. I mean, it could happen. And, it has been so much, many people knows the Trovatore that they don't know opera because of the Max brothers doing a film based on the music of Trovatore. So, however, at the end it comes as one of the most beautiful operas that needs the best singers, and what is even more important, the best Verdi singers.